Hi there. In this video we are going to talk about how do you choose your opening in chess as efficient as possible. So let's dive into it. So how do you start picking an opening? What do you have to look for? So one of the important things are when you are starting and you are picking up an openings or various openings and you're trying out. Um, the very important thing that makes you progress uh, the fastest, or as I rather like to put it, the more efficient way, is you pick openings that are similar to each other in black and white, or rather, if you play as black and white. Let me give you an example. So I think the easiest way is to start with with the black side. And let me say, I'm gonna give you an example as how I did it, and that's how I made it. Okay, so I started playing with the Pierce defense. Once I have once I said to myself, I want to study something and um, want to target something specifically, um, I was looking into an opening that suits my playstyle the most well, okay? And for me, it was the Pierce defense against 1 e4. And why the Pierce defense? So, the Pierce defense for me was the perfect way because you can play it against 1 e4 and you can play it against 1 d4. But the 1 d4 version is called the King's Indian defense. So let me, if you're confused, let me show you what I mean. So starting the game as the Pierce defense, you go 1d6, then white is gonna do something like that. You and the game commonly played starts like this. And for someone who is familiar with it, let me change it up. So let's put everything back and start with white with 1d4. And black goes like this. Then white goes like this. And you have the same structure as black. You see? It's for white it's different, but for black it's the same. You both openings share the same opening principle. They share they share similar, not the same, but very similar middle game plans. And well, the end game is probably almost always gonna be different, but the similarity is gonna be the pawn structure. That pawn structure that is shared amongst both openings, the Pierce defense and the King's Indian. So one more note, this is for black. Let me make it like that. It's probably more less confusing. Um, Something that you also get. Okay, so there is that. Okay. Um, uh, I got hung up. So I was thinking about. So where do you get also this structure? So let me I'm not recommending any openings. This is only about the principle of making your opening repertoire and opening choice the most efficient as possible. And for those that are familiar, this pawn structure is similar to the dragon in the Sicilian. Okay? The only difference is in the Sicilian you have your pawn always on c5, and in the King's Indian and Perks you most likely, but it's you want to play e5, but you also can play c5, and you're essentially playing a dragon. So there is that, okay? I can only give you this as example because that's what I have played, and I don't want to chew something valuable for you. So it can be very valuable if you go research it your own. If you, let me say, want to play the Caro-Kann or something else, or e5 or something like that, okay? So, going back. And trust me, I'm trying to make it the easiest as possible. So, let's go for white. If the same goes for white, you can even play. So what I have done is I have played the King's Indian attack with white, because I was playing the Pierce and the King's Indian with black. I played the King's Indian attack with white. So the King's Indian attack starts with knight f3, and the beauty in that is that you can transpose. And what do I mean by transposition? So you get similar, you can get, it's about the move orders, okay? So I have to take care to not make it confusing. So you can build your repertoire and play the same stuff with black and white. For example, one more, because I know it out of my head. If you want to play the Sicilian as black against 1e4 against the king's pawn opening, you as white can play the English. And the English is practically the Sicilian reversed for just white is playing the Sicilian, just one tempo ahead. The same as with the King's Indian attack. So you can, and what do you achieve by that? Okay, what do you achieve by playing similar openings in black and white? So you progress your understanding about the pawn structures and about the ideas you want to develop in the game. You have it way easier because you are essentially playing one opening with black and white. Imagine that. So you are not mixing ideas with each opening, and you're not all over the place because you have to remember this opening and that opening for king's pawn and queen's pawn opening. You have it all in one. Imagine that. As for the start, this is magnificent. It's awesome. It's beautiful. This helped me so much. I can't put it in words to paint a picture. when I started chess, uh, I, I was really bad, like horrible. Obviously I didn't uh, even know how the piece moved and all, and I never played like I had to learn chess all by myself. So um, there was this funny instance with my best friend where we used to play chess, and I had still to figure out how the knight moves on the board, and my mind had to go through that process before I could decide a move and um, understand the position. And I got slapped by him almost without an effort. So I started studying, and what I have done is, as I explained to you, I have started searching for openings for black and white, and I I did that what I just told you by accident because I I fell in love with the King's Indian pawn structure, and I saw that the Peer's has the same pawn structure, and I loved how Bobby Fischer played the King's Indian, so I picked that up. Then later on, I figured I saw Magnus Carlsen playing the Catalan, and then I felt in love with that. And what I then realized is, well, every of my opening choices for black and white was essentially the same opening principles, and they followed the same plans and structures and the same red thread, okay? And that made it incredibly easy for me to learn. And then from like within 1 or 2 months of good practice and learning, I've started to beat my friend to the point where he admitted that he has no chance anymore. And this was kind of funny because I only practiced like one opening, okay? So it's not about that. It's like what I want to tell you with that story is you can have very um rapid progress, and it's exponentially. It's like you are gonna start flat, then once you pick up, at some point it's gonna go very steady uh, until you hit your plateau and you have to learn again. But it's gonna go like this very quickly if you manage to put your time into um, make the proper opening decisions, in which I mean you pick the openings to start learning that are close to each other. As I said before in a video, you can still deviate later. You can still like play different openings later on, but if you are starting and chess is kind of brutal at in the beginning, and ain't gonna lie, it's the hardest game for some reason. It's Dark Souls without, 3D and, monster boss slaying, whatever. So, yeah, I'm talking about the start. Once you have figured it out, it's different, but yeah. So there is that. As a summary, um, pick openings. Do we even need to make a summary? So yeah. Um, is there something else I want to give you that could be useful? Um, I think that's it. I want to make it as short as possible to not get it confusing or like the whole attention span stuff, but um, it's also kind of intense, maybe, and yeah. So I hope this was useful to you. I hope I gave you some ideas, even if you are not very new to the game, but you still wanted like to have something new, a new opening, and you stumbled across this. Yeah, I hope you got something valuable out of it. So, um, yeah, take care and peace. I decided to make a summary anyways. So, you want to essentially pick openings that share the same plans and pawn structures as black and white. So, it will help you progress so steady that it's you can't imagine now. So let me know if there was something confusing or if I made something unclear. It was very difficult to me putting it into words and something comprehensible because it flowed to me so naturally. It's almost unnatural to put it into words. It's like you're making you're giving your thoughts form, or not, you're bringing something that's uh, in the air to the earth. It's kind of stretch. It's kind of difficult. So yeah, I hoped it helped you and you got something out of it. So yeah, I hope you have a great time and peace. Bye bye.